Let's bring in former Democratic New York State Senator David Carlucci and former Republican New York City Councilman Joe Borelli. David, I think Mar has a point. Is the Democrat Party going to be lost if you elect a Democratic Socialist, which, by the way, was endorsed by Hakeem Jeffries?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's the complete opposite. Look, in this election, the Democrats, between Andrew Cuomo and Mamdani, they're taking up over 80% of the vote. I think Republicans need to be concerned that Curtis Sliwa is only polling in the teens. If this election ends that way, this Republican candidate in New York City will have one of the worst percentages of the vote in New York City history. So I think it speaks to the diversity of the Democratic Party, the fact that what plays in New York City might not play well in Oklahoma or in Kansas, but it shows the diversity of the party, that it's not monolithic, that we have diversity. You look at Virginia, you look at New Jersey, they're doing well, and it's a different type of Democrat.
I think that's a glass half full approach, in all due respect. The 80%, combining those, that's a smart point. However, diversity, you really want diversity of abolition of private property, standing beside individuals who have been, linked to terrorists, unindicted. You really want that kind of diversity?
Well, I think when we talk about that, we have to be clear that this unindicted co-conspirator is the same person that stood with Mayor Bloomberg, with Bill de Blasio. This is not unique. This is a community leader in New York City that was never convicted of a crime and has done things to help the community.
And I take your point. I know he pushes back on that label. Joe, we're going to get to you in just a moment. But the refusal to say Hamas should disarm, and it taking multiple times to figure out they should disarm.
Well, look, I think this is where people get to make that decision. They want someone with new energy, new ideas. Look, New York City does not weigh in on the Middle East process. What is more important to voters in New York City is how do they get to work? Are they going to be able to ride the bus? Are they going to be able to pay the rent? And those are the issues that are resoundingly resonating with New York City residents. And I think it's actual strength. Yes, I know the Republicans will try to use Mamdani as a foil, but I think
they will.
They will.
Yeah,
but I think it only
and Joe's about to do just that. Joe, I want to hear your thoughts on what David had to say, but also Curtis Sliwa is still in the race. This is someone, you do have Cuomo. I understand he has a lot of flaws, but he is far more mainstream than a Democratic Socialist.
Look, Curtis Lee was in the race, but as of today, he's polling at half of where he was polling at this week in 2021. He's polling at half of the actual vote share he got in 2021. There's not really a path to win with that setup right now. So if you're Curtis Sliwa, a supporter of Curtis Sliwa, I'm not sure what you're doing right now. I'm no fan of Andrew Cuomo, but I also don't want to light my vote on fire. So David's right? David's 100% right. Zohran Mamdani is motivating a lot of people in the Democratic Party. He's going to regret saying that because the platform of Zohran Mamdani, the platform of the Democratic Socialists, it is motivating people here in New York, but it is not going to play well outside of this city. It's not going to play well in the midterms and all 435 seats that are on the ballot. And I think the Republican Party is going to make an example. So, look, if you're me as a Republican voter, you're thinking, am I going to light my vote on fire, or am I going to go with a guy that I don't particularly like, I don't particularly care for? I think he's responsible for a lot of our challenges. But do you want someone who has their foot on the gas pedal on socialism, or do you want someone who has their foot on the brake sometimes? I'll take the brake.
Yeah, lighting the vote on fire. That's very vivid and perhaps accurate. I want to play, David, this is a clip from the former highly popular Democratic governor, Andrew Cuomo. He was once touted as a potential presidential candidate. Here's what he said to Mamdani on the debate stage.
I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're now talking about in your campaign.
The party has its qualms with Cuomo, but he does make a point. He did rebuild LaGuardia.
Absolutely. No, I think Andrew Cuomo is a good candidate, and he has the experience. I worked with him when I was a state senator in New York, and we got a lot done. We built the the Tappan Zee Bridge, now called the Mario Cuomo Bridge. So, yes, he's got a point. But I think what's exciting is the same things that have excited people towards Donald Trump are exciting people towards Mamdani in terms of that populist message. You know, Joe just talked about these issues of socialism, but you could really say that this is about populism. And
I don't know how excited they're going to be when Rikers is empty. I don't know how excited they're going to be when criminals are running wild. When you have someone with anti-Semitic views in the mayor's race, I don't know how exciting that's going to be.
Well, all of these issues have been played out over the past few months, right? And we still see Mamdani polling very well. Why? Because I think the same issues that excited people for Donald Trump, they want change.
I do want to. I think they're very different people. The excitement for Trump was based around issues and substance, and Cuomo has his flaws as well. I would note with COVID, President Trump took a much different approach, a better approach. He infringed upon civil liberties. Andrew Cuomo did. I do want to bring this up because we cannot leave without bringing up what happened with the Knicks.
Yeah.
You have Mamdani. He used what appeared to be their logo, very much resembled it. We have some video or some imagery we'll put up. The Knicks came out against him. The New York Knicks have sent New York City mayor candidate Zohran Mamdani a cease and desist letter. Ouch.
Look, he has been playing it very cute on social media. He's done things that are very innovative, which I give him credit for. He's been a great campaigner. But this has gone a little bit too far. You don't want to mess with New York sports teams. If you want to alienate people in New York, start messing with sports teams. That's all. That's my humble advice to Zohran Mamdani. Stay away from sports teams, and you might win.
Just a few moments. Who wins?
I think Cuomo has a chance. Mamdani's in the lead. But again, if you're going to light your vote on fire and vote for Sliwa, I can't help you.
Yeah. Who wins?
Well, I think it's very close, but the numbers go towards Zohran because of the fact that Cuomo is on row I. So you really have to look for him. But I think anything can happen in the next few days, so I wouldn't count anyone out. But I would look at that number of what does Sliwa actually get in the final vote. Is it the lowest Republican turnout in the history of New York City? That might be the talking point.
A lot of Republicans have left New York City. And then finally, I'm going to tease, but I love the show of hands questions on the debate stage. Anyone think Sliwa's dropping out? Okay.
Nope.
All right, there you go. All right, well, we'll keep you updated on all the latest. David Carlucci, Joe Borelli, thank you.